So I've generated over $10 million through my sales career, and LinkedIn DMs is by far the best way I've ever generated business. I consistently get 5+ sales calls every single week without spending hours creating content and without sounding spammy. So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact DM framework that I use, the messaging that actually works, and the follow-up systems that actually book calls, and how to do this in just 5 hours a week. Now, the crazy part is most people fail with LinkedIn outreach. And from what I've seen and from my own experience, there's 3 main things that stop and hold founders back from actually successfully booking sales calls. The first one is generic friend requests that sound like a bot, always have long messages in there, and just get ignored. The second one is just pitching immediately and saying what you want rather than finding out what their problem is. This is a massive instant turn off. People do not like this. They are used to having this constantly every day. And the third one is there's no systematic follow-ups. They send one message out with automated AI replies or new chases, and they never get any responses. And this is why I'm so strong in saying that automation does not work for companies that are not blue chip big companies. It is killing your outreach. If you're generating under 5 million a year, this is not gonna work for you. Simple as that. You cannot use it. Yes, you can use it to get connection requests, but to rely solely on this, it's just gonna put you as exactly what everyone else is doing because the AI rush is here, and you're just going to get bled out. You're not going to get these results that you want. Now, people can tell what is automated and what is not. They get a lot of messages a day, yeah? They send the same similar stuff. It's professional, it looks AI, there's certain things in there that it triggers. Even some softwares out there that try to do AI like a human, they're not there yet, and this is the problem. Now, because they're doing it very similar, your message sounds like 10, 20, 30, 40 other people, and it's just instantly ignored. It's like a leaflet going through your door. They're just getting it and just putting it straight away. They're not even replying and not even reading it. And the thing with LinkedIn is it flags spammy behavior. And what that does is it pushes you down the pecking order. So you're actually not getting seen as much as you could be. And this just means that you're burning leads while you're trying to learn how to do it. So this is then slowing you down further because you're actually burning people that could be a prospect or could be a client. But unfortunately, you're just coming off like a spam artist. And once you start to realize that LinkedIn is simply a conversation, not a sales funnel, this is when you can start succeeding. It's not cold emails. You have to treat it differently. And that's why cold outreach specialists in emails may struggle in LinkedIn because it's a completely different game. You're simply starting relationships, not trying to close them in the DMs. The goal is simple: to book a sales call, not to pitch a service, not to talk about how you're going to help them. It's to book the call. Think quality conversations over a volume of bad prospects and unqualified leads. So what you should be doing is this, and this is my DM framework that books me sales calls every single week on repeat and consistently. First of all, you have to identify the right person to message on LinkedIn. You cannot just be sending random messages to someone that's not going to buy your product. And that's defining your ICP on LinkedIn, okay? So this is like founders at specific revenue targets, size of their company, certain industry, like are they tech or are they employed, are they their own business owner? These type of things. We want to get as granular as possible. The more granular we get, the less people we speak to. But there's a great saying out there: those who speak to everyone speak to no one. And this is why we have to define this down to a list that we can then contact, and then we know that they are going to have potentially a problem that we can solve. So look for signals, like look for the content that they're posting, look for the things that they're saying. When you're getting on sales calls, or if you've had previous sales calls, record notes and basically put this in ChatGPT and see the type of things that they're saying. And this is how you can narrow down exactly who your ICP is. So when you're speaking to them, for example, me, I help founders book 5 to 10 sales calls every single week without spending hours doing it. This is where you can find exact words that are key to them that are going to trigger this. And this is when we build our LinkedIn and then also our kind of pitch to this person, because then we're speaking to the right person rather than the wrong person. And sometimes what people get wrong with this is that they try to send hundreds of messages all the time, and like 80 to 90% of them are not hitting their ICP. And what they end up getting is that they're trying to do the DMs and they're not getting results because they're not speaking to the right people, and then they give up on LinkedIn. And this is where people fail. You need to get this right from the start. And where you can focus is the people that are showing the signals, like I talked about before, but like people who are commenting on your post, liking, actually viewing your content or viewing your page. Just start messaging them and have that conversation. Start to learn and adapt to it. And just remember, quality targeting always beats volume. You don't have to send thousands of messages like you have to send thousands of emails with LinkedIn DMs. If you do it right, you can do 80 to 100 a week and get good results. So in the next step, once you've got the ICP, you need to start sending connection requests out to them. So you can actually automate this part, okay, to save you time. You can build a list in Sales Navigator. So you just need Sales Navigator in LinkedIn. You can then filter through exactly who your target audience is. And there's a video that I break this down. And alongside that, what you then do, okay, is you get this into a software like Dripify. And basically what you will do is you put that list, so let's say it's 2,000 of your ICP, you put it in there, it'll send connection requests like 30 to 50 a day. And then what will end up happening is that will slowly just keep filling up who's actually following you and connecting back. And then you can send DMs. Now, super important, when you go to send them the connection request, do not do anything. No message in there, just a simple connection request. Before that, obviously connect with them and like their post. And if some softwares do it, they can actually write comments. Just be very cautious of that because AI can be a little bit weird with it. Now, once that's done, it's going to fill people that are your ICP that are connecting with you that you can start DMing. No pushiness, just simple connection requests, very soft. And then we can start messaging them after a short delay. So then the next step is actually messaging them. This is where people fear and they start to get very scared. Now, we want to wait 24 to 48 hours, preferably 48 hours before you message them. And why you do this is because, especially if you're creating content, which I recommend, even if it's not that good at the moment, there's ways to dial this in, which I talk about, but this just allows them to familiarize yourself, okay? So with LinkedIn, people sometimes get shown stuff straight away, but once you start connecting with someone, it will show your content to them over the next 48 hours so they can see you a little bit more. So then when you do the DM, they actually know you a little bit more. So rather than it being super cold where everyone is just DMing them straight away, this just allows that little bit of buffer, which again shows some human nature in that regard rather than just being straight to it. So once they connect with you, you wait the 48 hours. Then what you need to do is just acknowledge something specific or unique or something that you genuinely found interesting about their account. So a great example, the other day, I was DMing someone or connected with someone and my setter did a message and I looked at it and I was like, oh, this could be so much better. It was very generic, generic for what he is capable of doing. I then went on his page and he was doing like AI banking, like this new gen thing. And I simply just said, this is what you should have said. Hey, XYZ. I never say great to connect because that's what everyone else says. I just go, hey XYZ, wow, I'm very curious about this business that you're doing, AI banking. I'm very into AI, so this is really cool, full stop. That's it. Then you go into a positive or negative frame question, okay? And what this allows them to do is answer it positive or negative. It kind of gears you to see if they have the problem that you solve without you asking them directly. So in this, what you can say is, how is your lead gen going? Again, this is just for my business. How is your lead gen going? Getting a lot of sales calls or needing to add more sales calls each month? Very simple and straightforward. They're going to respond to that first message because it's quite unique, it's human. And then they're going to respond to that question, which then starts the conversation going. And again, there's no pitch here. You're just building genuine rapport like a human would. Like you're at the bar asking them how the business is going. So once they respond to that, what you're able to do is assess if they're a good fit or not a good fit. If they say that they don't have a problem or that their lead gen is fantastic, doesn't mean that they won't be able to work with me. Some people have their guard up. So I'll then decide if I need to have a little bit more just a friendly conversation or move them through my MAPS framework, okay? Now, once at this point, you always want to acknowledge. So always acknowledge and then ask a question, and only one question per message. Don't just start to throw random questions. Now, when you ask the question, think of something that is easy to answer. So if I was to ask you right now a little bit more of a detailed question, like if you could change, if I could remove you from the business right now, what would you want to focus on straight away? Now, for me to read that right now, I can't answer that question right now. I would have to take a little bit of time to answer that and think of it. And a lot of people won't answer that. It's just too technical. It needs to be quite simple. Just saying like, what's not working for you right now? Or what would you like to change in your business? Something a little bit more specific, easier, rather than like a thoughtful thing, okay? Now, once they respond to the message, okay, this is where you have the ability to take them through the journey, sounding like a human, not like a robot. And I call this MAPS, okay? And why I call it MAPS is because this is allowing us to take them on the journey from one place to their destination, okay? And their destination is they want 5 to 10 sales calls, or they want your service, or they want the problem that you solve, okay? They want to have that relieved, okay? But they may not know it, or we need to get them to input that actual journey, that destination. Now, how we do this is we map their pain, and that stands for M, okay? We're actually trying to find where that pain point is, okay? Then we go into A, which is aspire the goal, where they want to be, okay? So for example, if they say to that response that their sales aren't where they want it to be, they're looking for more sales calls. The next one I would ask would be how many extra sales calls a month would make a difference to you right now? And then simply from there, I will get where they want to say. Now, maybe they say 5 to 10 sales calls. We can then pinpoint the problem and go, why do you feel like you're not achieving that right now? Very simple question. You know, what we're doing is we're basically getting them to tell us all their problems. And this allows us to have a conversation without sounding like we're pushy. We're getting information as well. But again, we're not just straight away jumping to the call. Now they could say, I'm not too sure how I'm doing, my ads are not working, whatever, okay? Now from this point, I go to S, and that is suggest the route. This is where I can offer the call. I then suggest that we can jump on a call. Rather than saying, hey, I can help you with this, let's do X, Y, Z. What I do is I go, hey, I'd be curious to see if my systems and what I'm doing can help you book those extra XYZ, 5 to 10 sales calls, whatever he said, and help you with that problem that he said. Other founders I'm working with are doing desired result and removing that pain point. Would you be against jumping on a call? It's a soft way to ask for the call, but it also addresses that I'm actually listening to them and then we're getting on the conversation. This is a really easy framework that you can actually just rinse and repeat and not do it yourself once you get this working. And the best part about this is that you don't actually have to follow maps all the way through. If someone says they want 5 to 10 sales calls, you can just offer them the call right then and there. They've talked about the pain and what they want. And if you can solve that and you have that solution, for example, if you're doing marketing and they want extra leads, and you know you can get them, then do that. If you're a consultant where you can help that person get what they're showing is an issue in their business, then offer the call. When you get better at this, you will know when to offer the call and when not to. Initially, always follow maps through because this is going to give you the framework that you can follow that is showing the consistency. Once you learn, then you can adapt. So you now have the exact DM framework from connection requests to booking calls. But here's the reality. Knowing the framework and executing it are two completely different things. Most founders try this for a week, don't see results, and immediately give up. Or they say they don't have the time to do this while systematically running a business. And that's what the 5-hour sales system handles. We help implement this exact framework for you. The targeting, the messaging, the follow-ups, that gets you that 20 to 40 extra sales calls every single month. If you want help implementing this without doing it all yourself, there's a link in the description. We'll look at your situation and see if this is the right fit for you. Now, let's say you follow all of that. You do the connection request, you got the ICP, you start sending out first messages, and then you realize, wow, some people are not actually responding. And this is where the follow-ups are where the magic happens. A lot of people send one message and wait for a reply. And unfortunately, this is not how people work. Prospects will get busy, they'll forget to reply, their message will get buried in the inbox. There's just a lot of things that can happen. And as a business owner, you will know that you just forget to do things. They assume no response equals no interest. And that's so far from the fact. I used to be this person where I would think that if someone didn't respond to me, I give up. But in fact, timing is everything. Follow-ups was where the money is made, okay? The first message is the easy part. It's the scary part, but the follow-ups is where you're gonna make your money. So this is the follow-up timeline that works, okay? So if you message them and they don't reply on your first message, I would send one follow-up, okay? And this will help not spam everyone. And then I would set a task or reminder to follow up with them in a month again and send another personalized message. Now, if they've responded already to your first message or they're in any stage of the maps besides the call offering part, which is a full other structure in that, then what I would be doing is I would be following up every 24 hours 3 times. So what that looks like is if you message them on the Monday and they reply on the Tuesday and then you reply back on that same day, if you don't hear from them on that Wednesday afternoon, send them a bump up message. It could just simply be, hey man, or hey Zach, just bumping up this because I know it can get buried in the inbox. And then do another bump up message the next day, the Thursday, and then another one on the Friday, okay? And this allows you to have 3 touch points. Simply, it just allows you to show that you're on top of this. And some people complain, but a lot of the time, this actually builds people back into the funnel. And I've had so many sales calls booked from this. And it's just simple reminders. Like I said, hey, just bumping this up. Hey, just making sure you didn't miss this. I know they're busy. You've got a busy day. Hey, again, just making sure you didn't miss this. Just simple things like that. Just change it a little bit. This is simple, but it works. So once the call has been offered and they've said, yes, they're interested, then you've sent your booking link. At this point, because you don't send the link when you offer the call, ask for them to confirm, then send it because it's less assertive. From here, you want to be following up pretty frequently. So I will follow up about 4 times in the first 24 to 48 hours. So once I send that link, 30 minutes later, I'll just say, hey dude, did any of those times work for yourself? Because I know my calendar's been a bit full. Then a couple hours later, I'll just say, hey, dude, just nudge on this, send the link again because I know your inbox can get overfull. Then the next day, I would send them a message again saying, hey, just making sure you saw my message and that the calendar link's working. Sometimes it doesn't work. Just random things like that. And then I would follow up one more time saying, hey, have you given up on wanting a call? You always want to go for a no response, not a yes response. No response is going to get a easier kind of reply because they get comfortable saying no. This is good for the sales call. But you want to stay on top of these leads. Most people do not do this. They'll offer the call and never reply again. Or they'll follow up 2 or 3 days later and they've forgotten what you've even been asking them. So these people you need to stay on top of and make sure that you're not letting them just get busy and forget about you, because people will just forget about you. Now, a lot of people are busy and they say that they can't do this. And I was once one of these people. That's why I took ages to do LinkedIn DMs. But in fact, you can do this in about 5 hours a week, okay? Or a little bit longer initially as you're getting, the cadence and getting the speed done. Now, very simply put, those things that you hate the most, you always put to last, and unfortunately, they never get done. You need to prioritize the things that you don't like. I don't like DMs. Most people do not like DMs, meaning you need to do this first thing in the day, get it over and done with. It's one of the most important, if not the most important thing that you can do in your day. So let's get it done straight away so you don't have all the busy, crazy stuff in the day blocking you from doing it. Again, I know this, I was that person. So let's say you start work at 9 a.m., okay? Let's say you're awake at, let's just say 7. You go to the gym, whatever. You're back, you're at your desk, or you're having a coffee at 8:15, 8:30, doesn't matter what time. For 30 minutes every single day, even on the weekend, if you have the patience to do that, you wanna send 10 to 15 DMs every morning. Now, what you wanna do is you want to do this systematically. So get your outreaches done first. So send your new messages out to people. And then after, reply to the old people that you've already been sending messages to, and keep that conversation going. Do not overcomplicate it and try to reply to every single person straight away. Now, if you have the ability to do that, great. The quicker the replies, the better it's going to be. But if you're running a business, or if you're trying to get into this, set blocks of when to do it. First thing in the morning, midday, by the end of the day, okay? It does not take long. It takes 5 minutes to just go through and message people back and forth, okay? When you do that, you're gonna see massive results. It's that simple. That can take 5 to 7 hours every week, just doing it like that. It may take you a little bit longer initially as you get better, like I said, but that is the power. And make sure to get a scorecard to track everything. How many messages you did, how many responses, how many calls booked. Because what this allows you to do is see the data that's showing you, if I do X amount of DMs, I'm gonna get X amount of responses, and I'm going to get X amount of calls. What it also shows you is if you're doing, let's say 80 DMs a week, and then all of a sudden your reply rate drops massively, so you're only getting 20 replies or 5 replies or whatever, you're going to see that your calls drop. But you can see that it's something to do with your DMs and not working inside there that's causing you to be like that. Could be your content that's not on point. We don't know. But that's why when we have the data, we can consistently see what you change and allow us to get better and improve it. Now, if you're super busy and you're watching this video like, oh my God, I do not want to do it, you can get someone else to do this for you. I have an appointment setter. I even hire appointment setters. What this will allow them to do is do this for you so you don't have to do it, okay? And that means that you're doing even less, but you're then just reviewing what they're doing, making sure that their messages are on point and that they're targeting the ICP. And they can do the 20 messages a day. They can do all the follow-ups. They can do all the looking at people's profiles and then actually messaging them. They're literally running the whole system for you. And this is what a lot of my finders and what my clients actually end up doing, or they do it from the start if they're super busy. So these are the numbers that you want to be aiming for so that you're getting the best result, okay? So you want to be sending at least 30 connection requests every single day. Not any more, not any less. This is going to allow you to get the most amount of connections possible. And this is especially viable if you're at Sales Navigator, which is essential to this. You must have that. It's going to rapidly help you. You're then aiming for about 30 to 50% acceptance rate. If your acceptance rate is less than this, your profile is not dialed in, your message is not great, and you need to look into your LinkedIn content or start doing LinkedIn content. So this is going to have a huge pool of people that you can then message. You're then wanting about 20 to 30% response rate to every single DM that you send. And this should book 5+ sales calls every single week if you're doing it correctly. And these numbers improve as you optimize and get better and familiar with what you're doing.